I am the greatest.
I wish I was 50 years younger and I'd kick your ass.
You won't do shit. Just stick and move. And making you understand. Now stick and move. Keep your hands up.
Welcome to a new episode of the Stick and Move podcast. I'm your host, Trey, here with my homeboy, Sam. And today we're having a what if episode. So we did one a few months ago on Salvador Sanchez, if he never died. Today's what if episode is, what would Miguel Cotto's career look like if he never fought Margarito with those loaded gloves? If it was just a regular fight, would the fight had looked the same? What would his career have been? So, Sam, talk to me. What do you think Miguel Cotto's career would have been like if he did not fight Margarito that July 2008 day?
I think, look, man, honestly, that fight damaged him, in my opinion.
Okay. Yeah.
If Margarito did not have the loaded gloves, then Cotto would have wiped him out like he did in that second fight.
So you okay? Go ahead.
Cotto's a great fighter, dude. Great fighter. We all know that. And without the wraps, we saw what Cotto did to Margarito.
Yeah.
And you know, let's be fair here, bro. I mean, Margarito could have killed him.
Yeah.
He could have killed him, bro. He could have killed him. And I think that he would have had few more fights in him. And a few more fights in him if it wasn't for that beatdown, bro. Because that was vicious, man. And Cotto, I mean, he did whatever he could to survive in that fight, and he took so much damage it would have killed anybody else, in my opinion. I think he would have had a couple of more years in him.
I don't know if the fight would have looked like the second time. I think this is one of those scenarios, bro, where, you know, look, for Antonio Magarito, he lost the next fight to Sugar Shane Mosley badly. It was like Mosley was doing the dirty work that Miguel Cotto couldn't in that crazy day in 2008. And he just, I think it was like a ninth round TKO, if I'm not mistaken. And then we saw what Pacquiao did to Antonio Magarito. I mean, broke his eye socket, bro. I think when they met the second time, Cotto and Margarito, they were both different fighters. I think Margarito was
he was already damaged.
Yeah, he was damaged.
He was still broken when he fought when he fought Manny. Yeah.
But to be fair, I honestly think what you were saying. I think because Cotto was undefeated, bro. He beating guys like undefeated Malignaggi. If you remember Ricardo Torres, you remember when he fought Quintana, if I'm not mistaken, he was also undefeated. Cotto was fighting guys that, you know, just didn't have any chance with them, considering that they were so dominant in that division.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, bro. I did not watch when that first fight of Margarito versus Miguel Cotto.
You didn't see it?
No, I've seen it before, but I didn't see it live, because I remember thinking Miguel Cotto is just unbeatable. I remember thinking that, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I remember going out, I think it was like a party or something like that, and I was like, dang, I really want to watch the fights. And I remember my homeboys were like, hey, let's go watch the fight. And I had to pick one party over another. And I was like, you know what? Cotto's going to mop the floor. I understand that Margarito at the time was the boogeyman. He definitely was, and he was warranted. He was two-time champion at the time, would become the third time after fighting Cotto. But I remember being like, Cotto's got it, bro. And the idea that he went down with the towel in that 11th round, going down twice, it blew my mind. I mean, I've always wondered, what would have Cotto's career have looked like? So let me ask you this. Let me change the conversation a little bit. If they did not fight, what is Cotto's career like after that? You know what I'm saying?
Bro, Look. I've always said this too. He gave Mayweather one of the bloodiest fights ever.
I was about to say, yeah.
He gave Mayweather one of the most bloodiest fights ever. I think honestly that if he was damaged goods, and bro, he was just a beautiful fighter, man.
Dude, he was. He was
How
fantastic.
far would he have gotten? Um, I would say this: the fight between him and Manny Pacquiao would have been way more competitive.
Well, look, I remember after Margarito, dude, when he fought Margarito, I never seen his face. It reminded me when he fought Errol Spence, just totally pulped. His lips pulped and busted. He couldn't see, like his eyes were almost pinched shut. And I was like, there's no way he can recover after that. Dude, he gets up right after that fight because this is the era. A few months later, fights Michael Jennings, who at the time was no slouch. I think he only had 1 or 2 losses, if I'm not mistaken. He fights Clottey right after that. Dude, then he fights the boogeyman at the time. And I honestly still believe, Clottey was a journeyman boxer. He was like the boxer you fight
Yeah,
as
yeah.
he was like a good tune-up fight, because he had quickness, no doubt about it, and endurance. But I don't think he was ready physically. I think he was still recovering after the Miguel Cotto fight, even though it was over a year. I mean, I'm sorry, after the Margarito fight, even though it was
I
over a year.
agree.
And he goes into the ring to fight the guy, bro, that even one of the greats of all time was trying to avoid him, Manny Pacquiao. And Manny Pacquiao gave him, it wasn't even a boxing lesson. It was just, I hate to say it, not to be disrespectful, but it was just an ass whooping, bro. It was a fight where Cotto, it was over. I think it was one of those 10-2, 11-1, maybe even 12-0 kind of fights that I honestly think that he should not have gone into that fight with Pacquiao going into that 12th round TKO. You have any thoughts? Go ahead.
Yeah, dude, I agree, man. I just feel that he was damaged.
Yeah.
I think he was damaged, and he didn't have time to heal. But I mean, he couldn't pass up on the offer.
Mhm.
Um, what do you think would happen between your opinion, the fight between him and Manny Pacquiao, if that Margarito fight never happened?
I honestly think, bro, that if he would have beaten Margarito, because he was the boogeyman of the division, you know, and I honestly believe that he would have gone straight to Pacquiao. I think it would have been more competitive because to me, Cotto had that more size and he was a very intellectual, smart fighter. I honestly think after the Margarito fight, he got a little punch drunk, in my opinion, and more he was fighting a little bit more undisciplined, which is why he was getting caught later on and not being that competitive later on, even fighting Canelo, which Canelo, that was a just a lopsided match for a younger lion that he was fighting. I honestly think that if he did not go into that fight with Antonio Magarito with those loaded gloves, I think he could have prolonged his undefeated career, gone into a Manny Pacquiao scenario where it could have possibly have been a trilogy. Most certainly a warranting a rematch, not where they fought the first time and it was so lopsided you did not want to see any more rematches. You know what I'm saying? I think there would have been a rematch instituted. I'm not saying he would have beaten Pacquiao. I still think Pacquiao would have beaten Cotto, but I think it would have been like, hey, Cotto came to fight. Let's see a rematch at the very least. Let me ask you this, because we wouldn't be a good podcast. I mean, that's debatable anyways. If I didn't ask you this, because Margarito denies knowing all about it. Do you think he did not know anything about it?
No, I think he knew about it, bro.
It wasn't until the Mosley fight where Mosley was like, wait, what's happening here? You know what I'm saying? And
Yes.
then things just started getting way out of control. Investigations started happening, and Margarito his legacy was tarnished, bro. I mean, who knows? Bro, I want to say you're right that Margarito didn't know. I'm like 90% sure that Margarito did not know about the loaded gloves. But honestly, bro, you remember Margarito's trainer, Capatillo, right? He just, they would get suspended over a year after this. And to me, I think the psychological warfare that Margarito was going through, brother, he just wasn't the same after that, bro. Like I said, he comes back and he tries. I mean, he tries to fight. He tries to up his legacy, trying to make up for what happened. And he was just not the same anymore, brother. After that, the way he lost so badly to Sugar Shane Mosley, and then to Pacquiao, then eventually Cotto again. I mean, dude, I honestly think the loaded gloves, bro, it was psychologically, mentally over for Margarito. That 10% that has always lingered for me, I always see when these boxers are getting trained getting wrapped up before the fight. And there's always a trainer from the other side, usually. And the idea that none of them been called, or at the very least, I always see the boxer like he's not looking at the wrappings, he's looking past the trainer. Like he's envisioning the way this fight, like he's in the zone. He's not worried
Yeah,
about
yeah.
getting wrapped. So yeah, I might be saying I'm crazy and that there might be a 10% chance that Margarito did not know about the gloves, but at the same time, bro, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know. That's just me. What do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's always a witness from the other team watching them. What now they watch it carefully, bro.
Hmm.
They're watching, real carefully. Do you think that Floyd Mayweather knew? Because he was like, you see, that's why I didn't fight Margarito. I didn't fight
No,
Margarito because of the way he taped his hands. Do you
yeah.
think that was true?
No, I think that it's always easy to play Monday morning quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Like you already know what happens. It's always easy to say like, "Oh, I would have done this after the incident occurred or whatever has occurred or whatever happened." I think for the Mayweather conversation, I think like look, dude, at that time nobody wanted to fight Margarito because he had that iron chin and he was already hit with great hitmen of that division of that time and never got budged. And I think people did not want to fight Margarito because they knew that if you're going to get in the ring with that guy, it's going to be a slug fest. You're going to be feeling things you have never felt before in your fighting career. That's how scary Margarito was. So I think to answer your Mayweather question, I don't think he knew about that. Then let me ask you this question, because I rewatched the fight and I rewatched it again. And do you think Margarito even needed the concrete to defeat Cotto? Because the fight I saw, bro, he was putting him against the ropes the entire fight. Now, I understand that, you get hit by concrete, get hit by a loaded glove, it's going to lower down your guard a little bit. But it just seemed, besides the early start by Cotto, that Margarito just had an answer for every single shot that Cotto was landing. Do you think Margarito needed the loaded gloves to win?
I don't think so, bro.
Mm,
I think Margarito had the skills to do it, man.
yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah. And
you
that's
know,
why that's that 10%. I don't think he needs it, bro. Go ahead.
yeah, I think that Margarito was his skills. I mean, his reach, bro. I mean, everything he had, his training. I think it was more out of hatred. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? There was a lot of words going back and forth, and he just really wanted to hurt Cotto, in
Yeah.
my opinion. And it was a punk way to go, bro. It
Mm,
was that was stupid. I can't believe he did it. Um, but I didn't think he needed the loaded gloves, man. I'm not saying 100% Margarito would have won, but
Mhm.
it would have been just beautiful, bro. He didn't need the loaded gloves, man.
Eh, So, who do we blame here? Do we blame Margarito or do we blame the trainers?
Oh man. I mean, the whole team, bro. We can't point one person out. It's the whole team, bro. Man, and
Yeah.
also on Cotto's corner, dude, they should have thrown in the towel or something, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That was a beating, bro. It was like the Errol Spence Bud Crawford fight when people were like,
Mhm.
dude, they should have thrown in the towel like 2 rounds before the Errol Spence was, out. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
Because when it's damaged, bro, to the point where it's gonna cost your boxer's career, dude, you
Mhm.
gotta throw in the towel, man. Who cares? Look what happened with Tim Tszyu and Fundura. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Now people are saying, oh, they should have called off the fight. They should have stopped the fight on the fourth round. But I don't know, man. I would have blamed the
Yeah.
whole team.
Yeah, like Margarita, Robert Garcia, if I'm not mistaken, it was he was Margarito's new trainer afterwards, you know what I'm saying? And I think for Capetillo and his team, bro, I honestly feel that I think they're let off the hook. I mean, yeah, we haven't nobody's heard of Capetillo since, bro, but dude, this is going on the boxer 100%. And I don't think Margarito, I don't think he should get the entire blame, man. I think he is a boxer, the guys who you choose to train or whatever the relationship is, you give them 100% trust. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like Margarito is like, oh, you know what you're doing. Just go ahead and do it. Like, look, I'm a teacher at school. And the students I teach, they trust me that I'm giving them the right knowledge for the end of year exam, whether you believe in school exams or state exams or not. They trust me to do it. And honestly, I have I see that vulnerability and it makes me want to be a better teacher. I think this is a scenario where these trainers, they wanted the three-time welterweight champion and they were willing to manipulate their way because Cotto at the time, bro, you could say he was in the same breath as Pacquiao and Mayweather, maybe even higher than Mayweather at the time because Mayweather was still climbing up. Um, Hot take, by the way. Um, I think they wanted to secure that extra title underneath that training camps group. And I think they took advantage of the naivete of Antonio Magarito. You have any thoughts on that?
Bro, Cotto was on pace of surpassing the stardom of Tito Trinidad.
Oh, yeah.
You,
And we're going
you
to
know,
talk about that in the next episode.
he was already surpassing that. I was like, wow, this is, Cotto's a great fighter. I like his style. You know, dude, he's gonna be better than Trinidad. He's, bro, he was just a beautiful fighter to watch, man. And it was
It was.
just so when we talk about the topic of what would where could Cotto have been, or how far could he have gotten if it wasn't for that fight, that the loaded gloves, dude, he
Yeah.
would have gone pretty far, man. He would have had a couple of more great fights in him. I think the fights against Floyd, Manny, Canelo you know would have been a lot more competitive. I think
Yeah.
he got damaged, and it's damage that just you cannot recover from, bro.
Yeah. 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 Well, Um, look, I agree with you. I'm glad they had that rematch where Cotto just took him to school. He was extra motivated. I think, honestly, I don't think Margarito was the same after his beating against Mosley and Pacquiao, where Pacquiao like dislodged his eye socket completely.
Yeah,
Um, and I think it was just a dead duck. As far as answering the question, how far would have Cotto have gone? I think, man, because if he never would have fought the big what if Margarito just would have fought a regular fight against him and Cotto would have came out victorious, dude, we're talking about Cotto being a top 10, top 20 fighter of all time, at least in my books, probably definitely the number one Puerto Rican fighter of all time, which we're going to do a top 3 on already. So do you have any final thoughts on this episode?
No, I love it, man. Yeah, no, I love this. We have to make another video about Miguel Cotto and all his accomplishments and all the great fights he's been, bro. I mean, dude, the guy gave his life to, his blood, sweat, and tears to this, man. And he was on pace. At least what I saw in my eyes, he was on pace to surpass Trinidad.
Like I said, bro. Yeah. Like I said, I didn't even watch the fight because I was certain that, he had it in the bag. Like, oh, yeah, he's got this. No, there's no way Cotto's going to lose. Because, like I said, when I would watch this guy, I just didn't think he was beatable, bro. He had a great form. He had a great stiff jab. He was agile. He had good foot movement. I mean, this guy was the perfect package during that era when all these big heads were coming up. He was the guy, sweet, humble man. I'm sad that that's what that he was never the same after that, because I think he is a what would have happened if Antonio Magarito didn't have those loaded gloves. So you have any final words for our subscribers today?
Yeah, one more thing about the Cotto thing. I want to make an episode, is Cotto a Hall of Famer or not?
Ooh, okay.
I do want to do that. But anyways, I would like to thank everybody that's commenting. We're trying to reach everybody to answer back to all the comments. Keep liking, sharing, subscribing to our videos. We're trying to get to 1,000 so we can, continue doing more videos. And let us know, guys, if there's anything y'all wanted to talk about. We will cover the Sonny Liston versus the 90s. There was one guy that, and just thank you, guys. Thank you for watching our channel.
I couldn't say it anymore. Just to let you guys know, Sam and I, we're going to start going live on future big fights coming up. We're going to go live for the Canelo versus Munguia fight. We're going to go live for Tyson Fury and Usyk. By the way, did you see them with their stare down? I
haven't seen that.
It was like 2 different size fighters. But anyways, and we'll go ahead and leave it at that, guys. If you guys get a message from me, I am Trey at the Stick and Move podcast. Sam is Stick and Move 75. And as I always like to say, don't forget to stick and move, baby.
I am the greatest. I wish I was 50 years younger and I'd kick your ass. You won't do shit.
Just stick and move. And waking you up and saying, now stick and move.